Let's see, what do I want to try these. Well, it's not either of us. It's the piano sounds kind of loose wired. Particular note just yet.
Okay.
And then when your melody comes in, then the voicing is different. Just started from, started from the line before down here. Let me stay a little closer to the piano this time. Overblowing it a little bit. Let's see if this is a bejo. Let me hear from the pianissimo here. It sounds really percussive.
So maybe, overblowing it a little.
Maybe. And also, I don't like the sound of my piano right now, but I have to get over that if it's going to make any sense at all. What does that sound like to you? Does it sound like I'm making any attempt to voice those fifths?
Yes.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Because I can feel it in my hand, but I can't hear it in the piano. In fact, everything sounds a little vulgar. Maybe it's just my Let's see, what else can I do?
Yeah, I think what I hear there's a little bit more space in your sound. I think I'm pushing a little.
It might be. Let's see if you start here. Okay, now if it's pianissimo. Now what's here? Well, now I don't know who to comment to. The piano, me, or you? What's your opinion?
Well, I think that
Start it while I'm right here where I see and hear. Well, standing right here, you sound much better. Do you play in public?
Yeah. I haven't played this in public yet. I'm beginning to suspect that my piano needs work. Okay, go ahead and play as normally as you can.
why did you ask that question of whether or not he played in public? What was the thought?
Well, because in the last years I was playing, and all the study that I did with Victor Babin,
Yeah.
he always encouraged me to practice at a public level of practice.
Public level of practice. What do you mean?
Well, if it said forte, decide what the forte is. Decide what, in comparison, is same piece, fortissimo. And don't practice the notes without an intention,
Okay.
even when you're practicing something you've done 10,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, like practicing
For
with an
instance,
audience.
if I'm standing right here,
Mm-hmm.
start the piece and play first page or the half or so. For instance, my piano sounds really terrible right there. Where were you right now?
Just this part.
Are you pedaling every one of these or making a chord?
I think I'm kind of blurring it. I'll pedal every one.
All right,
I wasn't
try
though.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's start here where you take your forte and make your crescendo, which apparently goes right up through there.
Okay.
Okay, now start right at the beginning again. Once more, what do you think your first note should sound like?
I think it should sound like like the first raindrop. Like in a storm, there's like the first one that's loud. The first raindrop in a otherwise.
That sounds good.
That's better. Okay, now can you do it without so much deliberation? The first raindrop just happens.
Okay.
One more time. I see something too that maybe is interfering a little bit. I see, of course, I can't imitate your hand because mine is much smaller, but I see your hand moving back and forth.
Hmm.
Can you keep it in the same area?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, now maybe I'm fooling myself, but I think that sounds better.
Okay. Good.
Now that sounds better to me, does it you?
Yeah.
Now, for instance, what am I supposed to listen to here? You know, another thing that might have just another way of listening to things. Can you block the right hand while you play the left hand as the melody? Even here, you'll have to get out your own way. Yeah. Okay, now can you play the way it's written with about that much difference between the melody notes and
Okay.
just touching these? Once again. I don't over my interest. I think you can use pedal on it, but not let it sound like part of the written music.
Okay.
Now I'm hearing everything.
Mm. And you don't want to.
I have a feeling it's possibly, but it shouldn't be, the difference in our hands. For instance, my last teacher had hands this large. I had hands this large.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we sounded the same.
Hmm.
Try playing very, very clearly up here, but not really feeling any weight except right in the very end of your fingers. Okay, now I think that makes some difference.
Hmm.
Because you've got to indicate intention and care, or it sounds like you're kind of fooling around for 3 or 4 bars.
Okay. Yeah.
Do that again. That time I heard everything, your beginning notes, every note in your right hand, and I was hearing melody when
Okay.
the melody began to move. Good. Oh, is that better? Back up a couple of measures there.
Hurry.
And if again, it have to be impossibly, if you want to use the word critical, that's all right. If I had never heard this piece before in my whole lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
I'd have trouble hearing the melody.
Okay.
Okay, here again, all of a sudden now I'm hearing pedal interfere with the
Okay.
clarity you started with. Oh, that was very good.
Okay.
Just so you know. try not being too handy. I have trouble recognizing, for instance, when you have layers of sound like two F's here, and a P here, and then a P here, and then where you have this, I lose focus
Okay.
of what I'm supposed to listen to, primarily the melody. The harmonies, of course, are very interesting, but let's start right at the beginning again.
Do you think that in this part, like that the melody is just so if all the what I'm wondering is if those are part of the melody or if it's just
There's also a little slur here,
yeah.
so that you have. So I think the only way you can do it is with lifting your arm without leaving the key, because it says it's a half note. So you've got. The only thing that I'm actually suggesting is that Debussy himself very carefully edits things. Now he hasn't put anything here but plain notes, and they're mostly in the melodic and sometimes including the things they're not. It isn't. But so I would believe any little difference he makes. For instance, if I don't think you have to change fingering. Once again, I'm trying not to think it's the difference in hands. See, it's easier for me to do this with more clarity. I have to make a really positive effort. And at the same time, I can't let it roll too much, because then it's not a broken chord, it's distinct notes. And my hands have shrunken, so it's even harder now. Play your right hand along. Okay, and now you add a little bit of melodic accent to it. If you play the chords, it has a melody too, you know. All right.
So is the melody on the last of the 16th or the second in the right hand?
It's not. It's not really melody, although you're duplicating it, of course. But what I'm looking for is extreme clarity in here. See, I've lost something here in my hand. really hard on that because my hands are different. Let's see, what tempo should we try? Try it at a kind of a medium, nothing
Okay.
tempo. Good. Ah, wonderful.
Okay. Good.
And you should feel kind of a rubbery feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Really good. Okay, now I'm hearing. Can you still keep the evenness in the three?
That's hard.
It is hard. All right, what's the hard part about it?
I think they want to just sort of
Right.
fall together.
Yeah, occasionally you might try different fingering to see if one works better than the other.
Okay.
That's better.
Okay, that's the kind of evenness and clarity that you're going to have to kind of recognize all the way through the thing.
I have a pencil.
Okay, now start at the beginning and try to include some of my comments, but just play so that I can pinpoint other areas. Oh, great! Okay, I have one more comment about that. I would refine that and know what it feels like and what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to try out what piano you're going to play it on and adjust for whatever action gets in the way.
Okay.
Well, the good thing is that he plays on the same piano. It's that Apostolic Faith piano that Jordan Schnitzer bought for the project because he plays outdoors. Hunter
And
plays.
has it been redone some or?
Yeah. The action's been redone
Okay.
Marshall.
All
by
right.
Marshall.
Start
Does
again.
Marshall work on this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try not to stop you all the time, but. I didn't hear that change in those last measures. Okay. I guess also without realizing, I want to comment on the fact that sometimes it's just beginning to sprinkle on the sidewalk. The sidewalk is dry. You're going to hear more plop, plop, plop. And as you play along, it's getting a little wetter
Okay.
and moving into different areas of the piano. The clarity has to be the same, but every now and then, and that's the difference between continuing without pedal for 2 pages.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's not proper either. But if you suddenly have a gust or a splash in a larger puddle, there's a time when you go.
Okay.
All right, start it again. I start pretty dry.
Okay.
Okay, why would you even pedal the first note?
I won't.
I'm not saying don't. I'm
Oh.
saying, why would you pedal it?
Just to give it a little, so that there's a little bit of ambiance when the first note.
Yeah, after all, where does the melody start? Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, your right hand is very good right there in that register. I'm still a little bit, well, I'm concerned for a reason, because I used to play this a lot on different pianos. And the starting notes you have, if you have even had time to touch the piano and you just go and start playing, anything could happen. So start it again with the intention of letting everybody know that you have ability. Da, da, dee, da,
Okay.
da, da, da. Now that's wonderful clarity. I heard everything. I heard every note you played. Now, if you feel that you want to include in practice a touch of pedal or here or there, to help the design, or you know you're playing on going to be playing on somebody's piano that is kind of blah, then you have a chance to do a little bit of designing yourself.
Okay.
But that was a good beginning. Do it again.
Okay.
Right there. I think you can get a better sound with those chorded there.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're playing straight in. Keep it a little bouncy. Not that bouncy. Okay, now what happens to that bottom interval? How long does that last?
The whole time.
How
It
long?
lasts until the melody comes back.
Oh, you were. It was back. Keep it. Right there.
Oh. Yeah, so it lasts from here until.
Yeah, apparently I'm not allowing for what happens when you have to turn the page. But don't, well, eventually you're going to memorize this, I assume.
Yeah.
So play where it starts and have the page turned and go from there.
starts fortissimo and then gets to piano and then pianissimo.
Okay, do that.
Okay.
Okay, stop here before I go any farther. Now, I forget, what's the time signature at the beginning of the piece?
2-2.
2-2. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a little bit there that I think you are in 2-2, but I think you can probably get the ultimate amount of articulation in your fingers, and then with the amount of pedal you're going to use, it won't sound digital,
Okay.
but it'll then be possible to hear every single 16th note.
Okay.
Okay, pick it up anywhere you want. Okay, for instance, there. Couldn't tell what you were doing.
Okay.
Okay, now hear your left hand moving down
Mm-hmm.
while your right hand is playing the belly. I would try for a better duet between the two of them.
Okay.
Much better. Now I hear both of them. Okay, what's the dynamic right there?
Pianissimo. But I know it's hard. I don't even know what's.
Yeah, it's hard to get that down.
Well, and I also don't really know. Like here, I would imagine you would say, "I don't know what I'm listening for or to," because I don't know either. Like this.
Well, I would say right now, today, well, I'll just say one big clump. I'm a little suspicious of just the digital production of everything. I want to hear every note, not, of course I want to hear where it has a melody shape on the outside or wherever it is in there, but you have to keep that rain dropping all the time
Okay.
and not turning into kind of a mist. Okay, pick it up anywhere. Okay.
Like the
Yeah.
really the 5.
Okay.
You hear the 5.
Okay, stop. do that and relax your body?
Kind of.
Eventually, correct that kind of blunk, 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 blunk in your octaves. It's still melodic.
Okay.
First of all, I better tell you something about what influenced me greatly. My teacher, Victor Babin, was very insistent about every sound in the hand being differentiated. He could drive you nuts. But you have to make a decision. Do you want to hear the thumb, a legato thumb, or a plump thumb? Or do you want to do the bottom? Or what are you doing there? Let me hear your left hand alone there. Now, which melody to start with? Is the first note got a melody, or is it just an octave?
The first note in this is not a melody, or it's
No,
not.
I'm talking about the left hand right now.
Okay. Yeah.
What's that note? What's that note?
This is the first piece of the
Is
left
it
hand.
marked with anything but the note?
Yeah, it's marked with a down.
I don't hear the down.
Okay. And I guess it's every other note. So it's just
It's hard.
it's strange. I didn't really notice this, but so this is the first one, and see it has the little accent and it's downward. This one doesn't, and then this one does, and then this one doesn't, and that one does.
You mean the double thumb here, right?
Yeah.
Play that. Or start with the bar before if you want. Any place there. See, I don't really know what your left hand is doing. Now, I'm pretending not to know. I know what you should be doing, but I don't hear enough articulation.
Okay. Pianissimo.
Okay, and where is it going?
It goes to forte, but not for a while. We don't start crescendoing till this one. So we go, and then it starts to crescendo, and then.
Well, I guess I have to put it as bluntly as I can, and as bluntly as the music. Do whatever it says to do.
Okay. Okay.
That's better. What I hear off and on and through here is like when you have a melody that you can think of as legato in your left hand, but you're doing the figuration in the right hand.
Mm-hmm.
The figuration is still very, very detach. It is what you start with. Extreme clarity, especially when you're in the middle of the piano.
Okay.
Ah, better.
Yeah, I think.
And then you see, then you have more room to adjust
Yeah.
as you're playing for real.
Okay.
Do that again. Is that a triplet? Da-da-da-dum-bum.
Triplet. Yeah.
I can't hear the triplet.
Okay.
It sounds like you're playing a rolled chord.
Okay. Huh?
Now I hear it.
Is it too much now?
Well,
It's like too
I don't
in your
know
face?
that. You haven't come to the part where I couldn't hear it. I'll buckle you to the point where you can't do anything, so you have to overcome that.
Okay. Now I can't do it at all.
You're probably overplaying a little much too.
Okay.
Don't think of what is the volume right there.
Piano.
Yeah, I don't care what the volume is,
Okay.
but I wouldn't overthink the volume.
Okay.
Clarity is the main aim
Okay.
everywhere. Whether you're smothering it with the pedal or not, the fingers have to be really digital.
Okay.
Okay, what happened up there at the top of the right hand?
And with this?
Yeah, is it written as a with a ripple beside it, or is it individual notes?
As individual notes.
Then let me hear individual notes.
Okay.
Okay, let me hear left hand, right there. Do it again. Okay, be a little bit lighter on the arpeggio going into the real melody.
Okay.
Okay, now add the right hand. Embarrassed by the right hand.
You what?
Don't be embarrassed by the right hand. Go on, that was better. guess I'll offer a small warning.
Okay.
As you grow more confident and you have more control, be careful of overblowing.
Okay.
It's too soon anyway. How many dynamics in the piece are in the last 2 pages?
A lot. There are a lot of different dynamics.
Yeah, up at the top of the left-hand page, does it say anything?
It says more animated until the end. More animated
Okay.
until the end, or through the end.
On the preceding page, what's the last dynamic mark?
It's pianissimo up until this, and then it's sort of piano, then forte, fortissimo, mezzo forte, forte fortissimo.
Okay, you have another pretty wide range.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. This piece needs extreme clarity in the fingers,
Mm-hmm.
but yet the motion and the fact that you have figuration with maybe double stems on notes that are maybe more melodic, or whether it's just a plain arpeggio. And then on top of everything you have to do, you have to orchestrate it.
Mm.
Which means if I'm a director, you're my orchestra, and for instance, right here at this place, just starting cold, I might not recognize who I'm supposed to be pointing my finger at.
Mm-hmm.
Go back a ways and do some more.
Okay.
I don't hear the third note of the trumpet.
Mezzo forte.
Oh, really? Let me hear mezzo forte.
Okay.
Now, it is very block-like to play, but I'm not hearing da-dee-da-da. I'm hearing
Okay.
cha, chuck, 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 chuck.
Okay.
Now, when your hands are wide apart that way, what are the dynamics?
Forte to fortissimo.
How do you play fortissimo way up at the end in the treble clef?
I don't know.
Better use your arm.
Okay.
Okay, now I hear your right hand. What's the left hand doing? Can you make that? I don't know how much I should say because I don't know enough about your background. Every teacher I've ever had even with my small hands, insisted that they hear my thumb on the lower octaves and my little finger on the upper octaves.
Okay.
Okay, now can you not smother that all in the pedal?
Sure.
And I don't see anything moving in your arms.
Okay.
Play without any pedal. Now play the left hand alone and as musically as you can. Okay, I hear. I told you I could drive you crazy.
No, that's good.
I have been driven crazy. I don't suffer anymore. And are you going to pedal everyone or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. No.
Now can you play that proudly? Okay, now put everything back together again. The one word that I'm telling you with anything I say, the one word is intention.
Okay.
You don't just put your hand down. For instance, if I tell you play the left hand alone, and you go da 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 da, well, you know the notes, I hope.
Yes. I get it.
Step on those octaves more.
These?
Right. You know, what I'm really voicing, beyond any lesson either you've had or I've had, is have an intention when you go to make a sound or change the sound or verify the dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, you could put what are the dynamics right there?
They start piano.
Okay, let me hear you start the left-hand piano. Okay, can you separate in the pedal a little bit more? Okay, now you see I hear both hands.
Mm.
I hear da dee da da, and I also hear it up here.
Okay.
Okay, do it again. More thumb, left hand more thumb. Little smear.
Hmm?
I heard a little smear.
sounds better.
I think you have to be, you know, it's fun to play the piano. You can play the piano and laugh and kid and talk and do anything you want to and play at the same time. You should be able to after the experience. But when you're playing for real, the intention has to be so positive, so secure, even if you can't do it, you still have to aim for it. I had never received the type of instruction, if I wanted to call it that, it was way over that. I'd had several supposedly very good teachers. They helped me a lot. So I go off to Aspen, Colorado, feeling like I'm going to be the great concert artist, and everybody is stupendous. Absolutely stupendous, because they tell you so. And you have to kind of have that confidence, but you better back it up. And it means, I think it really means, no matter what you're doing technically, are you getting the sound you want? Are you playing at the dynamic you plan to play? Everything has to be a little bit more, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And that's very hard. You can get away with a really lot in Portland, Oregon, even in these days. Buy a pretty dress if you're a woman. Smile when you come out, and already people love you. And I don't know what it's like these days, but any young man, the fact that they program a program, everybody thinks they're wonderful, whether they are or not. And then Thomas came by. Without coming to the point where I think you were beginning to refine what you were doing, it just sounded good, looked good, had confidence. What did you know?
I could use some of that
And
now.
generally, it's called getting it all together. And the thing is, if you haven't had pretty good training, which I take as being somebody who tells you what to do and why, and then insists you do it. And Portland gets along with, that was pretty good. And
But you studied with John Perry, right?
now he's a different type of instructor. At least when I used to hear him, his was, I think, more brainy. Rather than being able to give instruction to somebody and feel the instruction in your own fingers before you try it out.
He didn't do that? He did do that, or he didn't?
Who are you talking to?
John Perry.
Well, his time was limited. Victor Babington didn't care about time. He just went on till he got what he wanted. But,
Oh. Interesting. His time was limited. What do you mean? John Perry, his time was limited?
well, he would come here touring and have a certain allotment of time that he was supposed to hear all these pianists that were going to demonstrate. So he had to be very watchful about if somebody is very good, giving them the whole time, and finally you got these poor people who weren't as good, never got a chance to any advice except, that's fine. It's very hard to be self-critical in a healthy way. You have to have the intention. You have to know what the intention is. And then you have to insist on it. You could be wrong. You could have the wrong intention. But at least you're doing something that is recognizable. And then it can be adjusted or changed or varied or whatever anybody wants to say. Yeah, oh, that's pretty good, but I'll tell you, if you do this, it's even better. And then everybody in the audience goes, oh, miracle. After my first summer in Aspen, I had to do a lot of self-examination because people liked my playing. And they liked this little woman who came out and could make big noises and move her fingers real fast. They didn't care about the music. And so when I began to care about the music and find what I had to work with and do a lot of experimentation, and also, I hate to say it, a lot of crying. But that's Portland. They think, oh, what a nice talent. Oh, I really like his playing. Or I really like what she does here or there. And it's good for the fact that it comes over as something that is at least enjoyable. But the thing I noticed when I went to Aspen a couple of years, knew Victor Babin, and he would give me a lesson every time he passed through town, was that my audiences were less smiling, but more listening.
Yeah, in Aspen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you're in an atmosphere like that where the general goal of everybody there is to get really better within a very short length of time, and you hit the right person, there were quite a variety of concert pianists who were teaching there, still are, I guess. I haven't kept up with their personnel. But the best thing about Victor Babin, for me personally, was he knew how to make me play better instead of playing. I mean, I always had a very pleasant manner and sound that people enjoyed, but I didn't know what I was doing. I never thought of solo piano. I was doing a company and working with anything from bass drummers to saxophonists, and being with them and being a rapid sight reader. Hooray for me. But I didn't know how to play the piano, except people liked my sound. And I think it's just because of what I came with. Short fingers, short arms, small body, to make what I would hear in my head directed me to a technique. I didn't even know it was technique. I was just playing and experimenting. So you have to kind of try everything. You have to know what you're trying for. And then if in between you have to get ready and play somewhere. You go out and do the best you can, and not worry whether anybody's going to like you or not like you. Tough business.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a wonderful pianist to be a good entertainer. It's nice if you can do both. But if you have an objective, a personal objective, that you're going to learn how to be better. You know, as I was growing up, master classes were going on in Portland all the time. Anytime anybody was going through Portland to give a concert, there would be master classes. And so finally a teacher encouraged me to go. I didn't play at that time, I just observed. And I had no idea that you should have ideas and aims and ears so that you could self-judge and then hopefully have somebody who could objectively judge and verify what you were doing and offer what to make it better. If you get to be pretty good, that's good. Because you can impress people. Have you ever heard him play the piano? Boy, he's a whiz. What's that? Or for me, people would say, you play with such heart. But what was going on up here? So, you know, it's easy for people to make judgments on the moment because they're limited as to what they know or what they're supposed to hear. So all you have to do is play the first notes of Claire de Lune and everybody falls on the floor.
Especially these days because nobody knows it anymore.
Well, because it now has a kind of a bad reputation.
When you went to Aspen, you went with Lawrence Layton Smith with Larry.
I didn't have any contact with him because by that time he was a director.
Conductor, yeah.
And in fact, I don't ever remember hearing him play solo piano.
Okay, and you didn't know him well.
Oh no.
Okay. He was a mentor of mine growing up.
Okay.
And so I read in your diaries that that you both went to Aspen at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering if you guys had any friendship
Well,
or anything.
There were big differences. He was in Aspen as a personality. I was there as a student.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh, interesting.
And what was his reputation or his personality? Because I only knew him when
He was just a personage that people recognized as the conductor of wherever he was at the time. There, his reputation was as a conductor rather than as a pianist.
Okay.
I never knew him at all. I watched him grow up here when he conducted the Junior Symphony, and then all of a sudden he was conducting the symphony on rare and special occasions. And then he left Portland and went to other places.
For a long time he was the conductor at the Sun River Music Festival.
Which one?
Sun River.
Oh yes, Sun River.
And that's my mom used to run that, and so so that's how I knew him.
Okay.
So I played my first concerto with him.
Aha.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
He taught me how to play the oboe.
Hooray!
Yeah. From over the phone, and then he gave me some lessons in real life, but I first learned from him over the phone. I was playing.
Now, why the oboe? Because you had one?
Well, no, I was playing the saxophone, and Larry said, you can't play the saxophone, you have to learn the oboe. And so
I love the saxophone, by the way.
You do? Yeah, I really was excited about the saxophone. I started with the violin, but I was terrible at the violin. And then I played the saxophone, and then Larry said, no, don't play the saxophone, play the oboe. And so he taught me how to play the oboe.
Very good. Did you play clarinet at all?
I didn't play clarinet at all.
Okay.
No.
Because I've had a number of very close associations with clarinet players.
Did you play the clarinet at all?
Oh, no.
Or the saxophone?
No, I wasn't interested. The piano was
Yeah.
the thing.
Uh-huh.
I would sometimes toot something, like for in the grade school orchestra. Sylvia, why don't you sit over there and let this person tell you how to play that whatever in clarinet or whatever I was supposed to be playing. I never attempted anything that was bowed.
You did the accordion.
Well, I played the accordion.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
That's very cool.
Self-taught.
Was it hard to learn the accordion?
Oh, no, I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
And easy.
Oh, wow.
Compared to the piano. No, my dad got me a little teeny, I don't know, the smallest bass
Yeah.
he had. And then within months, it was 12 bass, 16, and got bigger and bigger until I couldn't handle it anymore.
Because you were tiny.
Oh, yeah. No, my dad got it because I could carry it around with me. So that we would visit my grandparents up in Chehalis or wherever my relatives were, and they didn't have a piano. Okay, get your piano in. Sylvia, play.
Roll out the barrel.
Roll out the barrel.
Wow.